shocks all around in the Premier League as Newcastle beat Spurs, Palace beat Manchester United and West Ham beat Watford. We're here to take a look back at the 9 other games. We've already done the West Ham-Watford one, but we're going to look at the other 9 and we're going to be taking an all-important look at how the Hammers Chat Fantasy League is getting on, as we had a leader at the top of the league last week that you'll all know. It's not me, it's not Gonzo, but you'll all know him. And me and Gonzo are not doing too well, and we're going to tell you why. It's because the players were bought, isn't it? But we're going to be going through it. But Gonzo, where would you? How are you tonight? Where would you like to start?
I'd like to start with the elephant in the room, and I'd like to get Mike out of the way. You know, because Mike Manera of Mike on Monday fame, he's been top of the fantasy football league. Now, last season, he was top of the league as well for a long period of time. So I'm thinking there's clearly something in it. There are actually people that are good at fantasy football. Anyway, last week he gave it the old have you seen who's top of the fantasy football league? I thought, oh no, here we go. So I looked, there he was at the top. Now as we're preparing for this show, I said to Geo, we need to get the screenshot sorted out. We'll do it. I said well, here's my team. We'll have to do Mike because we didn't give him a mention last week. Didn't do the show last week, and we will also have to publish who is top this week as well. Well, it turns out they're the same person. Mike was top last week, and he's top this week. I can only suggest it's witchcraft, Geo. Witchcraft.
I think he must have used his triple captain on week 1. That must be his trick. He must use triple cap. He's actually in the live chat. We're going to be interacting in the live chat a lot tonight. So get your questions in, get your comments in about the Premier League and about football. Not West Ham. Listen, we do enough West Ham shows. We're going to keep the West Ham shows, the West Ham content for those shows. This is about football in general in Premier League, because I'm a lover of the Premier League. A lot of people don't like it in the modern day, but I know no different. I was brought up around the Premier League. I watch a lot of the Premier League, and Gonzo's, because of this new show, Gonzo has been watching a lot of the Premier League as well. Gonzo, I mean, you're putting a big commitment. What have you watched this weekend?
I have watched Match of the Day 2. I've watched Match of the Day. It's good for me. I watched the Liverpool game, most of the Liverpool-Arsenal game, and I went out yesterday, and I had my app with me that Woody sorted me out, got all the channels on it and everything, and we went out to the Lido. And just say Lido or Lido? I don't know. Anyway, we went there yesterday, and the missus and the kids, I went off for a swim, and I sat down with the old call box, and I popped on the Ashes, which, if you're into your cricket, you know, it's very, very dramatic. Anyway, that was brilliant. And as soon as I switched that off, I then switched over and I saw Tottenham against Newcastle, and they were 1-0 down, and they stayed 1-0 down, as you'll know. So, yeah, obviously the West Ham game live. So probably 3 live games and 2 separate packages of highlights, Gio. I'm a football aficionado now.
It's quite impressive, considering last season you'd watch West Ham and that was it, unless there was a mouth-watering game on. So you're getting there. So what game do I talk about first? Oh, in the live chat we've got Charlie Holland, who's claiming to be second in Fantasy League. What is this? The only people turning up at for the live chat is people at the top of the league. I mean, if that was the rule, I mean, you wouldn't be doing the show. I'm in the top third. Is that a thing? No, that's not a thing.
He is. Charlie Holland is. Let's give him a bit of love. Actually, we haven't prepared it with any pictures. But okay. See, the thing is, here's the thing. Well done, Charlie. Here's the thing. Everyone's got Sterling because he just keeps scoring and he's very good. And everyone's got Pucci.
I don't have him.
Well,
that's why I'm down at 300.
Well, here we go. This is why. But yeah, Mike and Charlie have both got him. So yes, well done, Mike. Well done, Charlie. This was meant to be different, this series, I've got to say, Gio. I was meant to be at the top. I was meant to be teasing people, winding them up because they were below me. And everyone said last season I did my wild card really early, and everyone said, well, no, you don't want to do that. Well, do you know what? I didn't. Well, actually, last season I was up in the top 100 or something like that at the start. Now I'm in the lower, at the bottom half, some might say.
Yeah, I ballsed up this week. I did a transfer and it was all wrong. But to be fair, I've done my fantasy league for 3 weeks now. I'm quite impressed.
Well, that's your commitment, isn't it? That's what's changed for you. You know.
I don't have time for fantasy league. I prefer gambling, so my time goes into researching betting. Okay, so I look at the betting and I just forget to do fantasy league. But because of this series, I'm determined to keep at it. But anyway, let's talk about some Premier League reviews. Come on, I want to talk about Premier League. Pick a game. Let's go. I've watched 6 games this weekend. Extended highlights for 2, and the only game I've not seen is Man Utd.
That's okay. You can enlighten me. So let's start with a Friday night game, which I didn't see, and let me give you some questions. That's Aston Villa 2, Everton 0. Why? And what's happening to Everton? They're meant to be better than they are, or is it just? It seems you look at the Premier League now. Everyone's got 4 points, pretty much. Well, what's going on here with Everton and Villa?
Villa were just very good. It was as simple as that. Wesley. Everton defence couldn't handle him. He was big, strong, making runs, holding the ball up. They couldn't get near him. Their first goal, Wesley's goal, I think Villa got a free kick just inside their half. 3 passes and a shot, and it was in the back of the net. And it was that quick and simple. Everton were still wondering what happened to the free kick. Then they scored the second very late on. But Everton were just lacking. They did come close. They did come close to equalising. But for whatever reason, Moise Keane still has not started a game yet. He's still stuck with Calvert-Lewin, who is crap. Like, he works hard. I'm not doubting that. He works hard and he puts about a bit. But the boy just can't score. He's just not good enough. I was watching a video earlier at lunch at work, and it was about ranking the Premier League strikers or something, and they put Calvert-Lewin in the good category, and I thought, what has he done to justify being there? I'll tell you what he's done. He's kept your £35 million striker on the bench, and that's not a good thing. Andre Gomez turned out one of the worst performances I've seen in a long time from an individual player. He was stinking at Villa Park Cup. Every pass was going wrong. He's fouling players left, right and centre. Horrible from Everton. Villa were good. They weren't world beaters. They were good. Tom Heaton, brilliant. Tyrone Mings and John McGinn, who we were linked to, both. Either one of them were my man of match. Real grafters. Made it difficult. But Everton were just lacking. But Charlison's not on form. He's in my fantasy league. To be fair, actually, I've got Keane as well. I've had him in. He's coming out now. I've pissed off. But I just know the week that I take Keane out of my fantasy league, Silva's going to start him and he's going to score because he's a goal scorer. That's what he does. It's not my fault that he's not scoring. It's Silva's fault for not putting him on the team. But yeah, Villa deserved 3 points.
Yeah, well, I can't say much about it apart from they had a geezer. I think Wesley's first goal, the goal came from the right. They had a winger who looked a lot like Jesus. Well, he looked more like Jesus than Gabriel Jesus. He was... but he looked very, very good. Who is he?
It's Jota, Birmingham's winger. He's been at Birmingham for a couple of years. He's been tearing up in the Championship, one of the best players in the Championship. And Villa spent 130 million or whatever. He's just one of the players they brought in. Very good. He's left-footed, so every time he got the ball, he would cut in. I say cut in. He wouldn't even do that. He would just turn it onto his left foot. And Wesley, as soon as it happened, Wesley just ran because he knew that Jota could find him with a through ball and stuff. And actually, when you watched it, you thought, ooh, I wouldn't mind a bit of Yarmolenko doing this, actually. Yarmolenko was trying it with Fredericks on Saturday, but Jota's link-up with Wesley was very good. But they've also got Trezeguet. I like Trezeguet during the African Nations in the summer. Whenever Wesley moves, Trezeguet goes into that hole that he creates. And this is what I was saying about you on the review. I would like to see Anderson and Lanzini start going into the hole that Allaire creates. Villa have got it down to a T. Grealish got his win. There's that start. He lost 20 Premier League games. He's got his win. But John McGinn, I'll tell you something. The more I see of John McGinn, the more I'm wishing we did actually sign him when Moyes was here, because he looks like... Oh,
he was the skillful player that was at Hibs or something.
Yeah. He went to Villa for about 3 million. I reckon he's worth 30 million now. I do. I think John McGinn is he's got everything in midfield.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Just on Heaton, clearly, I had David De Gea as my goalkeeper. I've got 2 goalkeepers. The substitute is Heaton. Heaton on the bench, not getting any points. De Gea in goal in my fantasy league team, conceding goals. Anyway, Norwich 2, Chelsea 3. finally, Frank Lampard's got his young fledglings up and running. Norwich look frighteningly saucy, bearing in mind we've got them in our next league game. For Abrahams took his goals really well. Mason Mount cut in, scored a really nice goal as well. Still think they've got almost their two best young players to come in, which is Loftus-Cheek and Hudson-Odoi, certainly. So they're only going to get better. But I'll tell you what I was thinking when I was watching them is the superstars had a good week this week. And when the superstars, I mean Sterling and Salah, both were fantastic for their respective clubs. It doesn't really matter. Aguero, yeah, another one. Yeah. The top superstar Premier League players. You can't keep filling in the voids that Eden Hazard is. And I was watching Chelsea thinking that's a hell of a miss. And I think their form has been patchy. Whilst I think Lampard's doing a really, really good job, I can't see him ever being good enough or dominant enough to go on a long, undefeated run. It's going to be difficult for them to get top four, but I think he gets a pass, doesn't he? He gets a get out of jail free for this season, Lampard, really. But Norwich are really impressive, and I was watching them, Geo, and wondering how good would they be if they hadn't have had to sell Maddison, you know?
Yeah, I think I'm not going to talk about West Ham Norwich next weekend. I'm going to keep that for our preview. But you know something? Sometimes you can get beat and you can actually get a confidence boost off the back of it. And I think Norwich has just gone and got that because they got a standing ovation off the pitch by their own fans, and rightly so. They were unlucky to come out there. But Frank Lampard's problem is his team needed 3 goals to win the game. You can't do that every week. You cannot rely on scoring 3 in order to get 3 points. So he's got a bit of a problem there. But I think, like you said, they've got a young team. Emerson, the left back, he just keeps impressing me every week. I watch Chelsea now. I think he's going to be a top left back in this Premier League. I think, but Norwich, Cantwell again had another really good game, scoring the first one. You know, so yeah, it's lots of positives for Norwich. You know, they scored 3 goals against Chelsea and Liverpool combined. Not many teams will do that this season. All 4 fixtures, never mind just 2 of them. So positive defeat, which is a strange thing to say, but a big win for Lampard. Actually, you could hear the crowd at the end of the game. You could hear the crowd singing Lampard's name. Something Sarri never had. Sarri never got that. He never had that chance.
They were never singing Lampard's name to Sarri, were they?
Oh dear. You know, find what I meant. Sarri never got that with the Chelsea fans. They didn't give him a chance. They didn't like him from day one. You know, Lampard's going to have to do a hell of a lot wrong to get slaughtered at that football club, and I think it'll benefit them in the long run because, like you said, they do have some really good, talented youngsters in that team. And you know something? It was good to see Tammy Abraham score too. He's one of those strikers that needed the goals. He's got them now. And there was a funny stat at the weekend. I think half the scorers in the Premier League were English, which is massive. I think that's huge for England's national team. It's something that's really good.
Next game, Brighton 0, Southampton 2. That's confused me because I watched the thing. Maybe I was dozing off on the sofa. I thought Dunk scored with a header, so maybe it obviously got disallowed.
Yeah,
or my computer's wrong.
Someone was standing in front of the keeper, so he was offside.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
VAR's had a nightmare this weekend, but we can talk about it at the end.
Yeah, well, they were getting spoken about like Brazil, weren't they, after the first game, Brighton? But having seen them at close quarters, it sort of looked, and they've not quite yet got the players that they're going to need to play the way their manager wants. So it's going to take a little while. There was a nasty tackle, nasty red card, deserved red card, really quite vicious actually. Southampton 2, second goal was first goal was decent actually, from their winger on the left. Their second goal was from Redmond, who I rate highly. I've always fancied Redmond, always wouldn't have minded him coming to West Ham. So good win. Possibly South Coast derby. I don't know, it's 2 hours difference between them. I'm not sure it's quite a derby, but yeah, good win for Southampton.
I thought Brighton played well. Even with 10 men, I thought Brighton were carving out the better opportunities actually. Not good if you're a Southampton fan, but that guy that scored the first goal, I don't know his name, there's a lot of Southampton fans raving about him, so people are already saying that the start he's had is similar to the start that Mane had. Now that's a bit OTT because we all know how good Mane is, but you've got to remember Mane wasn't that good at Southampton. Mane's got better since he's gone to Liverpool. So I think there is sort of context there, but I think they need to sort of hold their horses a little bit. But then we can't really say that because we're sitting banging on about Allier every week about being one of the best strikers in the Premier League and stuff. But yeah, a much needed win for Southampton. But the more I watch them, the more I think they could be banging trouble this season. I think Brighton maybe would have won that if they had 11 players. Horrible challenge from Andone. But did you see before that game though? This is one of the weird things. Did you see Bernardo kick him?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I mean, it was. Did he spat some out of his mouth and tried to kick it and ended up kicking the geezer in front of him?
I don't even think he tried to. I didn't see any chewing gum. It looked like he proper booted Andone because then you could see him smirking, and then he tried to say, "Oh no, I was trying to spit my chewing gum." But that wasn't a kick to kick your chewing gum. That was kicking directly at his ankles. And then the thing is, the guy goes and gets sent off. I'm thinking, well, hang about. He's probably wound up by your teammates just booed him before the game. It's a very strange thing. I've never seen that before. Kicking your teammate before. Very weird.
I'm very good at spitting out the chewing gum and kicking it. Very, very good.
What do you do with the chewing gum?
World class.
What do you do with that?
Kick it into a bin.
Right. Just checking you're not littering. Just checking you're not littering.
Even a small bin. I am very world class. World class. I've had to knock the gum on the head. Alas, but yeah, it's good. I would put myself up there against anyone at that. I've got to say. Anyway? Yeah, I did, but maybe it riled him up. Maybe that's why I went in with a nasty tackle. But he wasn't happy when you saw him. The guy was trying to explain what he'd done.
You'd be angry as well, wouldn't you? If you were walking along the jetty to the boat, so I just suddenly booted your ankle. You wouldn't turn around and go, "Haha, nice one. Cheers for that."
Well, it depends if I knew him. If it was Tony, for instance, I'd pull his trousers down and run off and embarrass him in front of everybody, or play a practical joke. But he didn't take it in good faith. I hope Tony doesn't kick me on Saturday. Now saying that. Anyway,
what's next? What's the next game?
Man United's won.
No, this is the only game. This is the only game I've not seen any footage from. I watch it on the. On Sky Demand? You can download like half an hour highlights of a game. So I do that. So I watch the live games. And any game I haven't seen, I download the half-hour highlights for. And the Man United game's the only game I've still got left to watch, but it's had to wait.
Will you watch it?
No.
No.
Because Peaky Blinders was on last night. It's on tonight after we do this. Power's back on Netflix. So I'll get round to it before the weekend because I need to watch it. Because I bet I need to watch it as much as I can.
I've had a couple of flutters over the weekend.
Yeah, I've seen your 25p stake to win like £2,000.
9,000. Nearly. Very nearly. Next week. Right, James scored a very lovely goal. But it was a typical Roy Hodgson performance, this one. He was dogged, they were well organised. Zaha looked like he was starting to come quite into it. In fact, he was integral. He was in the middle of a dribble when Van Aanholt scored. Jordan Ayew had scored the first one. Rashford missed a penalty, which is quite interesting if you remember the nonsense that happened with Pogba's penalty in the previous one. This is the sort of problem that I think he's going to have. I'm talking about Solskjaer here. Hodgson's been doing this for years and years and years, organising a team and staying up and doing just enough. And they do have decent players, not players that would get into the West Ham team or other teams, but actually players like Milovic and Schlupp and the ones that aren't particularly superstars.
Obviously,
they have players that can play in the Premier League, and they've got their own Sacco. They've got two Saccos, actually. Greedy, very greedy. They've got two Saccos, no Dembeles, and it's enough for Hodgson to be organised. And I just think he's not brought any brilliance, Solskjaer. There's no. He wants the brilliance of the people already there, like Pogba, who's a bit sulky, a little bit moody. I spoke about Chelsea. It's going to be difficult for them to get top four. I think this is going to be quite difficult as well. And you just wonder what is happening with the problem that Sanchez sat there eating up all that money every week and just clearly not part of the manager's plans.
It's just a bit strange. It's almost like the monster that got too big at Man United right now. You know, Ferguson used to have that club under control, but Ferguson was ruthless, and they've lost that ruthless streak about them as a football club, and people and players are taking advantage of it. And as a Man United fan, it must be difficult to watch because you've grown up used to winning things and stuff, really, and now you're sort of watching Man City win everything, and your club's a bit of a shambles, and you've got players pulling on the shirt that don't want to be there. And the only reason you're still doing okay is because your players are just world class on their day. Now and again, they turn up and get enough points in order to see you through, but there's no entertainment there. You know, they can't be going into weekends thinking, oh yeah, we'll win this one. They're going into weekends going, oh Christ, I hope such and such bothers to turn up today, because if they do, we'll be alright, but if he doesn't, then we're in trouble. It's like what we had with Arnautovic for the second half of last season. They've got that with half their team every week, and it's not good. You know, I mean, I've seen the clip of Harry Maguire though dribbling the ball out of defence. He dribbled for about 3 seconds and he just passed it to Crystal Palace player. And then there was no one around him. He just passed it. But I'll tell you what I did see. It was fun. Today, Crystal Palace did a tweet. It was about Zaha, and it said something like Zaha's got your fullback on strings or something like that. And Zaha's doing like step overs and twists, and Ashley Young's.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah.
Have you seen what Townsend's done?
Yes. Townsend said, have a bit of respect.
He quoted it and said, this is something we should be... An ex-winger, a 34-year-old ex-winger up against one of the best wingers in the league, this is something we should be applauding. Where's the respect? Very strange to call out your own club on social media. Fair play to him, but...
It is... Do you know what? I never even thought of it like that, actually. Funny, I thought of it... My immediate thing was... It was something from... Not so much his club, but it was praising his teammate. And because he very much said it, look, you know, basically he got turned inside out and fell over, yet still managed to block the cross. So it's funny, you know, you can always take it two different ways. I took it almost as a little slight against Zaha, but you're right, actually, thinking about it, it is a bit of a dig at the club's media department.
It's 100% a dig. He's calling out whoever did that tweet, saying, what are you doing? Like, why? The thing is, social media, we're going off tangent here, but this is a Premier League show, it's Premier League content. The German football clubs on Twitter are funny. They have banter.
Yes.
The Leverkusen. There's like 3 or 4 of them. They all have a little bit. They'll happily quote fans and take the piss, and they'll take the piss with each other, and they get away with it, and they're known for being funny. And the English ones are now trying to copy that because they see, as marketing people, as media people, they see engagement and think, oh, we need to get this much retweets and favourites and stuff. And then it's starting to creep in over here a little bit, and it's not going down too well because they're just not funny. So you can get away with it if you are funny, but the problem is if you're not funny, like what that quote tweet was, it wasn't funny. Okay. No. But the thing is, they also had that clip. At the end of the clip, you could see Ashley Young block the cross. So when I seen it, I thought, well, what's the point of all them step overs if all you're going to do is hit off the defender anyway? But it's strange because Man United did it on Saturday as well. Man United put up, here you're looking forward to our game against Crystal Palace, and they put up the wrong hashtag. Instead of hashtag Man U Crystal Palace, they put up Man U Chelsea. And then they replied going, although we wish it was still Chelsea we were playing. So as soon as it was finished, Chelsea had obviously beat Norwich, so they quoted it going, are you sure about that? And then Palace quoted it going, oh yeah, you're right, you wish it was still Chelsea, don't you? Now that's funny. You can get away with that.
Yeah.
But it's going to rub people up the wrong way, and it's obviously rubbed up Andros Townsend the wrong way, and it's going to be a bit awkward between the guy that done that tweet and Andros Townsend tomorrow morning when they meet each other, or they have their media day at the football club. Bit weird.
Nice. Yeah, a bit awkward, but also different. I think harder for the Premier League clubs, to be fair, because the German ones are sort of half owned by fans, aren't they? Whereas the Premier League clubs are these big conglomerates and you know, corporate entities and a bit detached. So you know, you're sort of almost relying on the guy that is head of tweeting, whatever. That's a good job, right? That's a good job. Actually, I say it's a good job. I'm presuming it's well paid. It might be terribly paid. Gig you probably want at Man City, to be fair. It's easy to come up with content when you're winning all the time. But But yeah, anyway. On to the next one. Sheffield United 1, Leicester 2. Jamie Vardy scores the first goal. Goes up to the Sheffield United cop. That's what they said. Bramall Lane cop, whatever it is. Gives it all of that. He's a Sheffield Wednesday fan. They're not happy. Apparently the atmosphere is very loud at that game. And then they score. I can't remember. They've just signed the fella from Swansea. Anyway, scores a header.
Ollie McBurney.
Is he Scottish?
Yes, put some respect on his name, thank you.
Okay.
He's a Scottish Peter Crouch.
Ollie McBurney.
That's it, yeah.
Thank you. Heads it in. Good header, actually. Good finish. Paid big money for him from Swansea. And anyway, the fans go wild. Barnes. Not McBarnes. Barnes. What's his first name?
Harvey
McBarnes. Scores a peach. A half volley. An absolute humdinger. A howitzer. Beautiful, beautiful goal if you haven't seen it. Anyway, it's 2-1 to Leicester. What I took from this is I thought Maddison was majestic in this game, and just sort of ran the game. It was a really lovely pass. I think it's for it must have been for Vardy's goal, but lots of touches. I don't know why I don't know why I saw a lot of this game. Maybe I saw extended highlights or something, but looked really, really good. Sheffield United, he's got them set up well. Clearly, he's got them playing to a style. I don't mean he pretends that they're pretty or anything like that. They're going to try and grind their way to staying in the Premier League, but I still think it's going to be very, very difficult for them. They're the polar opposites of Norwich in that respect, Gio.
I think it's quite a big win for Leicester this to an extent. It's not going to be an easy place to go, Sheffield United, and they just beat Palace the week before, so they were sort of chest puffed out thinking, we're good for this, we're ready to compete in the Premier League, and Leicester's turned up and said, no you're not, slap. But Maddison ran the game. He created another chance, can't remember who's on the end of it. They should have scored, but it was a bit of a sitter. It's just something I love. Jamie Vardy's celebration. Football needs more of that. Everyone knows he's a Sheffield Wednesday fan. I've read his autobiography, I've got it here somewhere. It's a very good read because he speaks about, he had quite a colourful upbringing, Jamie Vardy. He was a youngster, he had his tag on and stuff playing football, and when he played for his non-league side, he had to get subbed off at on the hour mark to go home because he had a tag on. But he scored a hat-trick in the first half and go home. So it's a good read, but he's a big Sheffield Wednesday fan in the book.
So he said. Crikey. Look, Jack Wilshere's had a tag on for the first couple of games we played.
Oh dear. It was quite a good one actually, I'll give you that. But yeah, there's a lot of Sheffield Wednesday in the book. So he's a die-hard Sheffield Wednesday fan. He might only ever score at Bramall Lane once in his career, so you know what, make the goddamn most of it, because you can give your all for Leicester and still support Sheffield Wednesday, and you can still support Sheffield Wednesday and give your all for Leicester. It's not a one or the other thing. You can do both, and he does do both. He's one of the top Premier League strikers. In 10 years' time, we're going to look back and name the all-time top Premier League strikers, and he'll be somewhere about 25th on the list or something. But he's up there, okay? Proper goal scorer, Jamie Vardy. Wasn't an easy goal. And Harvey Barnes is a player I really like. I really like Harvey Barnes. He's not really had a chance this season, actually. He's been sort of put on the bench because of Perez rocking up. But he'll be starting next week.
Yeah, certainly will. A great save from Schmeichel, to be fair. Probably just said that. It could have been a draw, but Leicester did deserve.
Tell you what, Callum Robinson needs to get a goal, though. He needs to score soon. He was another big money player for them that they signed from Preston. Oh. And started all 3 games now. Not found the net. Sharp's found the net. Ollie McBurney's found the net. So I think there might be a change up front for Sheffield United this weekend, whoever they are playing.
Oh well. Anyway, I would click on and tell you, but we've got to move. Yeah, we've got to move on. Watford, West Ham. Clearly, we've covered extensively. If you don't know what we think about that, this video is all over the place. Liverpool 3, Arsenal 1. This was the evening one, Geo, and I think, bearing in mind Arsenal's signings, bearing in mind it actually started quite well, bearing in mind everybody was hailing Ceballos as the new Messiah. Everyone was expecting a little bit more on this. Actually, I think Arsenal were flattered at 3-1. Liverpool went 3-0 up and took their foot off the accelerator pedal. Were swashbuckling, were brilliant. David Luiz was crap, but that being said, as Salah was sensational. As was Mane. I thought Jordan Henderson played a really good game. The fullbacks were as good as anything. Robertson kept on shooting as well, and Firmino, because what's the other one? Fabinho's the other one. Why do they do that? It's ridiculous. Anyway, I wouldn't, just on the strength of that, I would say I'm not signing you. It's confusing, but Firmino, the forward, was brilliant. Kept on dropping deep. Lovely little for the penalty. And if you see the little flick through ball he does the Salah, wonderful. I was very, very impressed. They can push City all the way, but he's going to have to really rotate because the fullbacks are everything. And for anybody that watched the analysis, Arsenal perhaps made it a little bit easy for them by not really marking the fullbacks who were their creative output.
Yeah, I think we got a reminder of the difference between Man City, Liverpool, and the rest on Saturday evening, because Arsenal looked impressive the week before and got slapped at Anfield. It wasn't even difficult. I think Emery has to take a lot of the blame. Emery got it wrong. When I seen that Arsenal lineup, I thought, what is he doing here? Far too open to go to Anfield and play like that. To have a really attacking midfielder sitting in centre midfield, you're just asking for trouble. Xhaka looked poor again. Torreira's on the bench. This time last year, everyone was purring about Torreira. Comes off the bench and he gets his goal, but I think he's going to be in the team. Pepe looked good though for Arsenal. I've not seen many players put Andy Robertson on his arse one-on-one, but Pepe did it with ease. He just went up to him and passed him. He is rapid. The speed Pepe's got is unbelievable, but he missed that chance, that one-on-one, and I've not seen such an expensive player bottle a chance like that. Is surprising a little bit. He just hit it straight at Alisson. Ceballos was really poor for Arsenal. There's too many players just did not have a good game for Arsenal, but I do think Emery needs to take a big part of blame. Aubameyang was awful. He was really bad as well. But Liverpool was just ruthless. I thought Arsenal did well for about half an hour, but then Liverpool turned it on and then it was 3-0. Simple as that.
Yeah, I mean, to put it in perspective, I think Arsenal look better than Chelsea and Manchester United, which were the two we were talking about earlier with regard to possibly missing out on the top four. Okay, Sunday, Bournemouth 1, Man City 3. Harry Wilson's goal, Geo.
What a belter. Is he the best? I put this on Twitter. Is he the best direct free kick taker in the league? I think he is.
I don't know. I've only seen him score. Oh no, he scored in the cup against Man Utd last season. Didn't he, for Derby?
For Derby, as you call it, Derby as we call it up here, because it's got an E, not an A. Derby, and for Wales, he's been doing it. He's been doing it for his national side as well. He's hit banger after banger. Bournemouth get a free kick, 25 yards from your goal, and he's on the pitch. You're in trouble. He knows how to. He's got different techniques as well. He can curl them, and you can do that Ronaldo-esque thing where he just pings it really straight and hard, and it goes up and down as it moves and stuff. I think he's the best direct free kick taker in the league, actually. There's a few others, Sigurdsson, Eriksson, Lucas Digne, but I think he's possibly the best.
What about the rest of his play?
But
I would like you to describe what he's like as a player apart from these free kicks. Is it worth having him in the team? Why did Liverpool rent him out? Terrible phrase. What a terrible phrase. Go on.
They've made a mistake doing that. They shouldn't have done that. They should have sold Shaqiri and kept him. He's better than Shaqiri. He's good. He's a young player, really technical, really clever. Plays on the right, left-footed, likes to cut in. But the thing is, he does shoot. If he can see the goal from anywhere from 30 yards, he will have a shot. And quite often it gets tipped around the post over the bar, deflection, goes out by corners and stuff. But things like that is what you need. You need someone that's not afraid to have a go, and he's got that in him. I think it could be one of the signings of the season if Eddie Howe knows how to play him. You cannot play him with this formation. He's playing 3-5-2 at the minute, Eddie Howe, and I don't like it. It's not working for Bournemouth. He's playing Josh King out wide. Well, it's more like it was 5-4-1 against Man City. It's supposed to be like a bit like 3-5-2, I guess, but it's 5-4-1. It was just, I know it's 3-1, but I don't think Bournemouth were ever in it really. They just park the bus a bit and tried to do what they could. But when they went at City, they were causing them problems. And it was good to see someone having a go, but they just stopped doing it. Come out in the second half, and for about 5 minutes, they were right in City's faces. City were rattled. They were making fouls. They had 2 or 3 players on the yellow card. Kyle Walker's lucky not to being sent off. And you thought, keep going, keep going. But they didn't. For about 5 minutes, they had all the hustle and bustle. Then they just retreated to their 18-yarder. Pep brought Rodri on. And from then on, it was just one-way traffic. But this is where the first VAR incident popped up, because, did you see it? David Silva, the guy stamped on his foot. Yeah.
No, I didn't see it.
David Silva come into the box. I'm not exaggerating here. David Silva's right foot is here. The Bournemouth player, Lerma, who's already on the booking, Lerma, just fucking stamp. Now he goes for the ball, but he misses it. Stamps on David Silva, top of David Silva's foot. Clean contact as day. David Silva goes down, plays on. VAR gets involved. Agrees with Mike Dean. No pen. It was the clearest penalty I've ever seen. VAR is not the problem here. It's the people working it. That's the problem. Because then it pops up in the Tottenham game later on, which I actually think was the right call, but a lot of people don't think it was. VAR's crap. I don't like it.
Awful.
I was trying to give it a chance, and I was 50-50. But after 3 games, I've already decided I don't like it, because it's not VAR is a problem for me. It's the people running it. It's just, I don't know. Clear and obvious mistake is what we were told, but they're doing offsides by the absolute millimetre, and I don't know. It's too. If it takes you more than 20 seconds to decide if someone's offside, it's not clear and obvious mistake. You go with whatever decision was made on the pitch, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the same. I was somebody who wanted to see it because I like my rugby, like my cricket. Don't follow tennis, watch it once a year like most other people when Wimbledon's on, but I can see it works in tennis. It doesn't work in football, so I've changed my mind. I went in hoping it would work, and I don't think it does. And it was horrible in the stadium. Horrible thing. Not to be able to, sort of half celebrating your goal, and then if it is chalked off or whatever, not knowing why it's happened. Anyway, that's that. 2 goals from Aguero, 1 from Raheem Sterling, who carries on his fantastic form. David Silva had a performance par excellence. He's Spanish. I don't know why I went French then. Kevin De Bruyne had a fantastic performance. 3-1 Man City. They're just relentless juggernaut. The second best result of the weekend. Tottenham Hotspur 0, Newcastle United 1.
Here's where I messed up. I transferred in Harry Kane for this game. I captained him.
Oh, well, you weren't saying. What was interesting? Okay, Newcastle won 1-0. Joelinton scored the goal, and anyway, so I watched quite a bit of this game actually, and they were really organised and resolute. Newcastle, we're into the start of the week. Most of you've watched Match of the Day. You've heard the analysis anyway. What was interesting was Pochettino suggesting there was unrest at Tottenham. The players are why? I mean, he was actually able to spend big. Ndombele, De Celso, is that his name? These were, I think he spent 120 million, perhaps 110, 120 million on the 2 players. So I'm not entirely sure what the problem is. Is he suggesting they weren't his players? They're good players. It's a very, very weird one. So much of when I've seen Tottenham play well in recent seasons, aside from the superstars who you might think spring to mind, it's actually been Son, who's been so impressive, plays so well. When Son's on song, Tottenham are on song, if you know what I mean. And even he was struggling to get into the game. It was a weird one. They just seemed to really struggle to be able to break them down. It does make me wonder what on earth's going on at that club.
Spurs were just crap. From the first minute to the last, they were crap. Newcastle they just did what Steve Bruce wanted them to do: sit in, wait, get the ball, and just run at them. Joelinton put in a man-of-match performance for me. His hold-up play was fantastic. He bullied Sanchez off the pitch, who should have been sent off, by the way, about 10 minutes ago. That Muto guy nicked the ball off him. He got rugby tackled. He was only on the halfway line, but there was no one. He was through. And Sanchez brought him down. Mike Dean just wears play on. Anyway, Spurs just don't have... They don't have the bottle, Gonzo. They don't have what it takes. They don't have the mentality. He's got Eriksen on the bench. Why? I know he won't sign a new contract and he wants out, but Point is, your transfer window's shut. So you've got to use him. He's one of your best players, your most creative player in my opinion. You've got him stuck on the bench. You've got 2 good finishers in Kane and Son, but you've got no one to pass to them. Lamella's okay. Lucas is decent, but I don't think he's as good a provider as Eriksen is. Eriksen comes in and starts creating play from about 40 yards away from the goal, which is what you need. You need someone that can pull the strings that deep in midfield. They didn't have that. So for all this making a point, it's cost them 3 points. But all this stats have been coming out since then about Spurs, and it goes all the way back to last season. I think they've lost independent league teams in the calendar year 2019. I think they've lost the 5th most amount of games. That is not good. I think Bournemouth's above them, and obviously Huddersfield, but they're ahead. They've lost more games than West Ham in 2019. So it's not great. And there was someone saying about how Pochettino's lost 4 of the last something like 6 games or something, but he won't tell you that. He'll tell you that he doesn't have players. And it's do you know something? I'm tempted to have money on Pochettino being the next manager to leave in the Premier League because I think the odds would be good. I think the odds might be worth it. Will he get sacked? Maybe. Will he walk? Possibly. He's clearly pissed off. He's clearly not happy. And at the end of the day, right now, he is a manager with this high standing in football. He could have a lot. He could have a. If he leaves tomorrow, he will get a big club. Yeah. Whenever Bayern Munich or something comes up, he's got
Real Madrid when they sack Zidane in a minute.
Okay, right. We're not going into this, but let's just say Zidane does go. Pochettino could go there. I could see him being manager of that club. If he stays at Spurs and they keep getting beat, and he gets sacked, his stature as a manager is a lot less than it was today. He'll still get a top job probably, but he won't get a pick. He might have to wait until something's presented to him. I wouldn't be surprised if Pochettino goes. I wouldn't blame him if he goes. But there's something funny going on at Spurs because they finished 4th in the league last year, but because of the Champions League, it was a good season. Chelsea finished above them, and Chelsea were crap apparently. I don't know, something funny going on. But listen, take nothing away from Newcastle. It's easy to look at what Spurs didn't do, but you've got to look at what Newcastle did do, and that is they got spanked by Norwich last week, and they turned up at Spurs, put in a really good defensive performance, really effective going forward. They lost your French player, Saint whatever.
Saint Maxime, yeah, he got an injury. Yeah.
Saint Bandana, he went off early, and things like that can throw your game. Not Newcastle. They were very disciplined, very organised, hard to break down. Deserved 3 points. Well done, Newcastle. And tell you what, Spurs have got issues. They play Arsenal this weekend, North London Derby.
Or Derby. They're not playing Derby or Derby.
If I was an Arsenal fan, I would fancy my chances on Sunday against that lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, but I thought I was quite impressed. Sean was very good for Newcastle as well. They took what's his name, Shelby, out and put Longshaft in, and he played really well. So
Dummett, Paul Dummett, he was my man of match that game. The left centre back for Newcastle.
Yes, yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, he was good actually, wasn't he? Was very, very good. So good assist as well.
Alan Pardew told him he wouldn't have a career at Newcastle. Just sure. He had the captain's armband on at the end of the game when Lascelles went off. There you go, Alan Pardew. You don't have a job, and this guy's captaining. Anyway, one game. We've got a couple of comments and questions in the live chat. So
yeah, lovely. Please do. Right, before we get to those comments, Wolves won, Burnley won. I thought Wolves were a little bit lucky when I was watching this.
Yeah.
I thought, are we seeing, because they had a game, I think it was against Torino in the week, are we starting to see the impact of playing Europa Cup football on a Thursday night? The big talking point, obviously, was Ashley Barnes. It is Ashley Barnes, isn't it?
Yeah.
Another wonderful goal. And you asked only the week before last, is he underrated? Not for much longer, probably, Gio.
No, I still think he is underrated. Listen, everyone's raving about Pookie. Why is no one raving about Ashley Barnes? It's happening. No one's talking about Ashley Barnes. Everyone's talking about Pookie. Listen, I understand. Praise Pookie. Everyone's praising Ali. Tammy Abraham, Yulington, Wesley this weekend. I've seen hardly anyone praise Ashley Barnes. I don't know why. In 2019, I think only Sergio Aguero's got more goals than him. He's in terrific form, and I think we are seeing the knock-on effect of Europa League. I know they got the late equaliser, but we're still seeing it. And I noticed that Nuno Santa has changed his mind about VAR. The last 2 weeks he's been slagging it off. He's been slagging it right off. And then I've not watched the highlights of that, but I've seen his quote saying about how VAR is good and it's correcting the game or something because they got the penalty off the back of it. Bloody hell, it didn't take him long to change his mind, did it? One good decision. If suddenly he's pro VAR. Fuck off, Nuno.
Easy done. Incidentally, that Ashley Barnes goal, that is exactly the technique I'm talking about for me with a chewing gum. It's exactly the same body, shape for it, everything. It's exactly the same. But they've had a good start, Burnley. It's almost so even. I think a lot of the Premier League at the moment, as I said earlier, it's difficult to pick and choose who's going to do badly, who's going to do well.
We do. I'm in a couple of last man standing competitions, so the way that works, you pick a team to win that weekend. If you win, you go through. Draw or lose, you're out. You're only allowed to use each team once. So once you've used Man City, you can't use them again. You've got to pick from the other 19. And this weekend coming, you're looking at it thinking, who on earth do I pick? Anyone can beat anyone now. So once you've used up City and Liverpool, you're scratching your head thinking, well, I'll just that one. Man Utd, nah. But it's getting like that though, isn't it? Norwich just spanked Newcastle, who then gone and beat Spurs. Sheffield United beat Palace, who then went and beat Man United. It's the Premier League's a crazy place right now, but something I'm looking forward to it. Are you ready for some comments?
Please.
Forever Blown Bubbles. Do you think, as early as it is this season, it's a two-horse race for the title?
Yeah.
I think it was like that before we kicked off the season, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's easy to think that things might change. Easy to look at signings and think something will happen. But Chelsea got the money to challenge the top two. They just can't spend it for obvious reasons at the moment. Arsenal were too far back as a starting point for their signings to get them close enough. Man United have got money, have spent money, but they very much changed their ethos. They didn't go out and buy world-class players, did they? They went out and bought young British players who they hope can improve. So clearly they've got a building project going on. My only concern is that actually it won't be a top two, it will be a top one, because as I'll keep saying it, I don't think it will take much for Liverpool to drop off. As good as Klopp is, I really do think he's a fantastic manager. I love the way his teams play football. That's my chosen style. I've said it before. The quick attacking 6 moves and crosses. I'll love that. I'll take that above attacking in 20 passes any day of the week. But the fullbacks are just so pivotal, so crucial. And I was thinking about it the other day. I asked to do an article for a Liverpool website, and I was chatting with a chap, and he was saying, what do you think? What do you think of Liverpool? What are your opinions on us? And I was saying exactly the same to him. They seem to have this transfer committee, and Klopp's on it, and whoever else, the Liverpool hierarchy are on it as well. And I think if that was me, I'd be saying to them in the scouting system, what I want you to get me a right back and a left back as close to these guys as you possibly can. Even if they're not quite as good, their style of play must be the same. They've got a lot of bend and a lot of whip on their crosses. They've got to be really good attacking. I just think when they take Gomez and put him out at right back, their style changes so much. They ask Jordan Henderson to pull right and pull the crosses in. Man City just carry on regardless. So I still think there is a possibility that it can be a one-horse race.
I agree with Gonzo, what he just said there. Tyron says there's problems at Spurs. He thinks Pochettino wants out. Mike Manera says Eriksen is mucking Spurs about. Charlie Holland makes a good point. Says what he doesn't get is why Vertonghen isn't playing. Very good point. Thought he was the best centre back in the league last year, apart from Van Dijk and Laporte. I thought he was probably the third best centre back.
And Alderweireld's in the same contractual situation as. I'm sorry. I'll deal with that in a second. Is in the same contractual situation as Eriksen anyway. I've got to say thank you to Ray Boreham, who's just donated $4.99, which is very kind of you. But Ray has said, how long till we could talk about True Geordie and his direct messages?
But we'll get on to that in a minute. I'm a bit higher up. I'm coming down. I'm scrolling down so I don't miss any.
That made me laugh.
Dave Goodyear says, did you think that foul on Kane was a penalty?
I can't remember it.
Lascelles and Kane went into the box, and Lascelles went down and put his arm across Kane. And there was a huge shout, went to VAR, and VAR agreed with Mike Dean and says no pen.
No, I can't. I'd be lying. I'd be making it up. I can't remember it, mate.
Not a pen for me. And the thing is, this is where I wonder, because the people doing VAR are in the same room. They're over in, is it Chorley or something in West London? Did you see that strange rule, by the way, in Premier League? If anyone enters the VAR room, they get a red card. It's 13 miles away from the nearest ground.
What about if I entered would I get one if I entered the VAR room?
I don't know, but it said if any player enters the VAR room, it's 13 miles away from the nearest ground. What a weird... Do you know something? If a player enters the VAR room, I think they deserve a 3-point bonus or something. Say congratulations for getting here. Welcome. They should come in. But no, it wasn't a pen for me. But the thing is, because they're in the same room, so the VAR referee for the Spurs game, was in the same room of the VAR referee for the Man City game earlier. I know they're on at different times, but they would have been there at the same time. So he's just seen that referee not give the stamp on David Silva, right, and thought, well, that's not a pen. So he's then got there's a much lesser contact between Lascelles and Kane. It's minimal, but Lascelles falls down and sort of chucks himself. So if he's just seen his sort of like colleague not give the first one, which is more a pen, he can't give that second one. He's almost got to sort of like he's under the influence, in my opinion. Does that make sense? They're all in the same room.
He's drunk, you're saying.
But also they've got the guy. While one referee's in charge of it, they've got Neil Swarbrick and another guy that's patrolling the room. Neil Swarbrick, if he was there on Sunday, he would have seen both of the incidents, and he would have probably been saying to the second guy, well, the first one wasn't a pen, so this isn't a pen either. And it's such a grey area. There's far too much grey areas. Offside is not grey. It's on or off. That's why VAR should be used for that. But for things like this, go get 20 referees and line them up. 5 might say pen, 15 will say no. And if that happens, I think you go with the on-field decision of the referee, and that's what they did. And I think that was the right call to make, going by what Mike Dean chose on Sunday afternoon. Forever Blown Bubbles, which 3 teams will get relegated from what you have seen so far? We're only 3 games in, so it's quite a big call.
It's tough for the reasons that we said. Okay, I am going to go with Sheffield United because I just don't think you can keep battling like that. This is tough. It's going to be really, really tough. Watford will go down if they don't sort themselves out immediately. And I might go for Brighton.
I'll say Sheffield United, Crystal Palace. I'm sticking with Crystal Palace. Southampton. I think that would be the 3. I think Southampton's going to fall. I think Brighton will be fine. Joe Lancaster. Anyone have any suggestions on what fullbacks they'd like us to go after next season? I'll tell you which 2 I'd like to see us go after. Apart from Jayden Bogle. You liked him. Apart from him. They're both away to play against West Ham on Saturday. Jamal Lewis and Aaron's the right back as well. I think both of them are good.
Aaron's 100%. I'll take that guy. As I say, if you wanted to, I don't know if he's still there. It was when somebody said Stuttgart had been relegated and were in financial trouble. They've got a right back called Mafia who's absolutely fantastic. Well, that's someone we maybe should be looking at.
Who's that?
We take it, Mafia. His name's Mafia. Yeah. If we say that we've done all our big business in terms of West Ham, just on that, and we've got the striker, and we got and actually our budget next year is for fullbacks. I wouldn't be averse to going out and spend, because Norwich want big money for Aaron's. I would not be adverse to going and saying, "Here you go, it's 25-30 million for your fullback."
No, I completely agree. Same with Jamal Lewis on the left back. I think they're both as good as each other. If we went out there next summer and spent 40-50 million on the pair of them, I'd be happy. The other right back I do really like is Valerie of Southampton. He really impresses me, and I think this is like he's going to get a full season under his belt. He's the guy that got studded by Adoni. He's quite tall for a right back. He's a very attacking right back as well. He's playing right wing back for Southampton at the minute as well, which is helping, if you like, because he's getting forward more. I think he would suit us. So Valerie, Aarons, Jamal Lewis, Jayden Bogle. There's a few names that I would like to see. The next one is Ray's one. How long till we can talk about True Geordie and direct messages? His reply was perfect. So funny. And he donated 499 pence to ask that question.
Yeah.
So I think
you don't have to pay to ask us a question, Ray. Thank you, mate. We do appreciate it, but we will happily answer your questions for nothing. Geo, obviously, I am well up on this, and I watched the video. But obviously, you are a man of YouTube, let's say. What's your thoughts on this?
Which one? His messages or his response?
Whatever. I think Ray wants to know all about all of it.
Okay, well, I'll just do. There's 3 bits here. First one was his messages. Don't have a problem with it. Say what the hell you want. That's what you want to talk about. You talk about that. He did apply some context to some of the comments. It came across as one way when you first read it, but about how he's talking about looking.
This show's taking a worse. I'm glad the title you spelled Frolic.
It's only 3 minutes. It's 3 minutes to 9. We need to wait another 3 minutes before we can discuss this. He was talking about licking certain juices, and in the messages it looked like he was talking about another male's penis, but actually he applied the context that it was actually going to be a woman's toy that he was going to be. So I thought, right, okay, that makes a bit more sense. It's when he was talking about the scatting, as it's called. That was a bit.
So, nice term. Nice term. We call it something more crude.
No, that's what it's called. It's called scatting.
How's it? Okay.
Just so I don't really say it. If people are thinking, what's scatting? They can go Google it, but I suggest you don't.
Well, you know what scat is? Bear scat.
Anyway, I thought that was a bit strange, but listen, it was direct messages between two adults who were. What I didn't like though was that female. One covered up her replies.
How did it get out? Sorry, Joe. This is what I don't understand. Did someone hack it, or did she release it?
Either she's it's not been hacked. Either she's released it, or she's given it to someone else and they've released it. But either way, this woman is. No. She's the one in the wrong here. True Geordie did nothing wrong, in my opinion. He was just having an adult conversation with an other adult who was female, okay? And it was dirty talk, and emphasis on dirty. And listen, I'm not into what he's into, but I'm not here to judge a man. He can be into whatever he likes. And in his response video, he basically said, I'm not into that either. I was just playing along, as you do. And I completely understand. I get what he's talking about. But everyone was missing the fact that this woman had either put it up herself in order to get all these hits and stuff, or she's sent it to another friend, probably in private, and that friend's leaked it. But she shouldn't be doing that either. And that's the problem here. Everybody was concentrating on the content of the messages, but actually missing the fact that some woman has just done him dirty. You can't say anything without it being a pun because of what he said, can you? But she's really strung him up, and I felt really sorry for him as well, because that's not nice. And all the comments he was getting, it turned into sort of like a digital bullying. And I thought, there's some people I follow on social media. Now I stay away from this is going away from football now, but Ray's paid his $4.99. He's getting his money's worth here. Yes. People on social media I follow quite often tweet about mental awareness and being there for people, and I always stay away from that because I don't know enough about it. I've never experienced it myself. People closest to me, some people have, but it's never really affected me, and I don't know enough about it, so I've stayed away from it. It's like politics. I don't engage in politics conversation because I know nothing about it. So when people, even when it's like Mental Awareness Day, I don't tweet anything about it, and I keep hammer chat away from it as well, the club will put something up, and I get that it's being politically correct, but I've always stayed away from it because I've never experienced it and I don't understand it enough. I've never spoken to someone that's gone through stuff and said, tell me about what it's like in that. So maybe I'm naive to it, but if you don't experience it, how are you supposed to understand it? I've just never experienced it, so I've stayed away from it. But True Geordie did a video not long ago about that YouTuber Jake Paul vlogged in Japan, a forest where people go and hang themselves, and he vlogged a dead body. So True Geordie did a video ripping into Jake Paul, and in it he spoke about how he's suffered before, about mentally and stuff, and he's considered suicide. He was crying. True Geordie's a big brute of a bloke as well. He's one of the manliest man you can get. You see it in the messages. It's proof. But he's a man's man. Goes to the gym. He's a big guy, alpha male, and he's there in tears, and you couldn't help but feel something from watching it. It was very real, raw. And just how he likes it. But when
sorry. I really tried to keep a straight face there. Sorry. It's very poignant what you're saying. Please carry on.
Anyway, so all this people then, the same people that tweet about mental awareness are then slagging off True Geordie, who's admitted to being mentally unstable in the past. And I'm thinking, hang on a minute, there's a correlation here, and this doesn't add up to me, and I just felt really sorry for him. But his video was a perfect response. He didn't admit he did the DMs, he just explained what the DMs meant, laughed it off, let Stephen Tries rip into him and make a few jokes about it. He laughed them off, he laughed along with it, looked up a couple of memes that was on social media doing the rounds, which to be fair, they were quite funny, there were some funny ones, and I thought he handled it in the perfect way, and it's come to the end of it. You think he did nothing wrong. He did absolutely zero wrong. But the only problem is someone did something wrong, and it wasn't True Geordie. It was the woman that he was messaging. She did something wrong. And what I don't like is that her messages were all covered up. And fair play to True Geordie for not saying what she said in response to him, because he could have easily gone, hang on a minute, well, I'm going to say this is what she was talking about, because she would have only been encouraging him for him to send all that stuff. And she didn't like it. She didn't have to reply. She could have said, no, enough of that, I'm off. She could have blocked him, whatever. But she didn't. She was replying to him. So she was engaged in the conversation. And then she's gone and exposed him, if you like. And that does not sit right with me. She's the one that's in the blame. True Geordie, complete respect for him. Fair play to what he did. He handled it perfectly well. And that is the end of my TED Talk. Thank you for joining me.
Very, very nicely said. I'm not sure I've got that much to say on it, to be fair, but he's a kinky bugger, isn't he? I mean, there's no doubt about it. He's got some, he's got some fetishes going on there. Why you would get into that level of kinky talk with somebody that you don't know?
Maybe he does know. Famous. Maybe he does know her.
Maybe he does, but why you would put that down? And archive it, which is basically what you're doing. I mean, just lessons. I say to my kids, not about that, obviously, but as you get older and you're on Facebook, be careful what you write. Be careful what you put down. It's going to be there forever. You're always being watched in this modern way, and I always think it when people get in trouble. That kid Chowdhury at Leicester, who played very well at the weekend, he did some tweets from when he was 14, and there's been another couple. I think the kid that signed for Fulham and for Liverpool from Fulham. All my stuff, all my mistakes from when I was 16, 17, there was no internet, there was no mobile phones. I just got to do mine. So people have got to be careful nowadays, and I think he should have known. Actually, this is very, very kinky. Maybe I shouldn't be putting this down. Maybe I shouldn't be having this. Maybe this is a conversation for the phone or for when we speak. Who's going to do that? In terms of the response, not only have I got huge amount of respect for anybody that laughs at himself, I'm always a little bit suspicious of anybody that can't. Because I work in a building trade, and we take the mickey out of each other. You turn up and you just rip the hell out of each other, and you've got to be able to laugh at yourself. You've got to be able to take a joke, and I thought he did it ever so well to say to his mate, who is a comedian and a very funny guy, go on, let's just get it done. I thought it was really, really good at him, and the right way to come back. And whoever, I mean, that his mate Lawrence has probably advised him very, very well. What are you going to do? How are you going to get out of this? Someone has said something publicly. Do you want to go and do the apology or the whole way? Or actually, let's just get it out there. And actually, by doing what he did, it sort of goes away. You know, you'll always get the odd message. This is the internet. You know, if he's got 4,000 comments on one of his videos, there will always be a couple in there that make reference to it. But after a little while, even the other people in his chat, his regular watchers, will start regulating it and start saying, "Oh, that's boring now. That was before. We're dealing with what the video is about today." So I think fair play to him.
Yeah, you'll always get a shit stirrer, won't you?
Yeah, he certainly will, mate. He certainly will. Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Ray, again. Thank you.
Well, what's he done? He's not putting more money, is he? I'm still halfway up the chart.
Yeah, but Ray, stop putting money in, please, mate, please. But it's very much appreciated, but please stop, my friend.
Pays for your biscuits.
Yes. Yeah, well, alas. No, but it's not because I don't have any biscuits, Ray. Don't give me any more money. I've got biscuits in there. They just didn't join me into the VAR room.
Anyway, get your final questions and comments in because we're going to start wrapping this up because Peaky Blinders is on in 20 minutes and I want to go watch it. But before, while you get your questions in, I'm just going to quickly show you Mike's team and Gonzo's team on Fantasy League because I never put them up earlier because we didn't really get into it. As you can see by Mike's team, who is top of our Fantasy League, he's got Kane and Pookie up front, Sterling, McGinn, De Bruyne, Mane. How's he got all these midfielders? He's been cheating. He's got extra funds.
I told you he's cheated. He is cheating. He's a perennial cheat. Cheated last year as well.
No, well, I suppose he's got Greenwood on the bench, so he's saved a little bit of cash there. Yeah, Van Dijk at the back. So it's a strong team there by Mike. And then we've got Gonzo's team here, which is not performing too well. So these are the players you want to avoid on Fantasy League. I mean, Alexander-Arnold's a good pick. So you got rid of Jack Wilshere, did you? Or is that the guy on the bench? I can't see.
Both. He is the guy on the bench, but I have also got rid of him.
Okay, well, that's good. Almiron, I mean, that's a bad buy. Almiron hasn't got a goal and an assist in his last 12 appearances, 13 now. That's a bad buy. I know why you've got him, but...
He's going to come good. I'm convinced he's going to... Every time I see him, he looks good. And what am I meant to do? Throw the baby out with the bathwater and then just do all my... And then put salary in and put Sterling in like everybody else. I don't know. Maybe I should. But I like to think...
Richarlison, one of the most disappointing players of the season so far.
Him or Bernard have got to go, I think. But then again, you know what happens? I get rid of Richarlison for the next week. You know what happens?
Yeah. I've thrown my team up there. You can see it for yourselves right now. Martial is my second disappointment this season, but I've got a lot of blankers at the minute. Keane, Richarlison. So I need to sort that out. I brought Kane in. I made a mistake. I'll tell you what. I need to get Mason Mount in. That's the one player I need to get in there. He's looked good now he looked good at Old Trafford. He looked good against Leicester. He looked good again against Norwich. I need to get Mason into my team. I think I'm going to try and get Richarlison out and get Mason Mount in.
His value has already gone up a little bit as well.
I think I need to. That's my free transfer this week. I think I need to get Mason Mount into my my lineup. The boys scoring goals. Lampard had him last season, so Lampard trusts him. He doesn't have to build up that trust like Tammy Abraham might have to do. It's already existing between Mount and Frank, so that's good as well. There's a few questions about West Ham. We're not going to discuss West Ham on this show. This is. If we do it on a Monday or a Tuesday, we'll be looking at the Premier League that's just passed, or if we do it on a Thursday or a Friday, we'll be looking at the Premier League that's upcoming. We might switch between preview and review, or alternate them. It just depends when we're available and what videos we've got planned on each channel and stuff. Our next one will be a review because it's International Week after the Norwich game, so we'll have quite a bit of time. So we'll be sitting down and talking about the weekend that's coming up. So, anyway, Gonzo, is there anything else you'd like to add before we disappear?
No, I don't think so, mate. Enjoy Peaky Blinders. We are back tomorrow. Tomorrow. Tell them all about it.
Yeah, we've got tomorrow night. We've got a watch along. We're playing Newport County in the League Cup, so myself and Gonzo will be going live. Time is TBC because I don't know what time the game kicks off. I assume it's 7:45, so we'll go live at maybe 7:20 or something, so we can have a little bit of a build-up. We'll talk about the lineup Pellegrini's put out, because whatever he puts out is going to be a talking point, whether it's the first team or he rotates some players or he makes wholesale changes. It's something to discuss. So we'll be very interactive with the live chat tomorrow during the game as well, so make sure you come on and interact with us. There is a 30-second delay between what you're hearing now and what we're saying, So if you're watching on TV, the commentary, me and Gonzo are talking, will be a little bit behind, but bear with us and hopefully you enjoy it. A couple of questions. Forever Blown Bubbles, fancy Premier League question. Do you ever pick a captain against West Ham?
I wouldn't be superstitious about it if that's what you're asking.
I'm trying to win fancy league here.
Yeah, no. If I thought we were playing Man City, for instance, and I thought we were going to get thumped, which we usually do, the trouble is Man City, you just pointless having Aguero because you pick Aguero and he plays Jesus. But let's say it was De Bruyne or something. Yeah, I mean, if I had De Bruyne and West Ham playing West Ham, I would make De Bruyne captain against West Ham. Of course, yeah, absolutely.
Dave Goodyear, with all the money in the Premier League, do you think we should be helping Bolton, who's had a threat of liquidation today, and Bury, who've gone to tomorrow night?
Yeah. I'm not sure we've got enough time if Geo wants to watch thingy, but yes, but there has to be some caveats in place. If the upper echelon of football is going to help out these lower league teams, the lower league needs to put something in place to stop the clubs being sold to these unscrupulous owners. So yes, if they get a bailout, then as far as I'm concerned, it's got to go into 50-50 fan control. Otherwise, all that's going to happen is that they get money off the Premier League teams and these owners take it and run, and that we can't help. If you're going to bail them out, you've got to put an infrastructure in place that makes sure that they stay healthy from that point onwards.
I don't think it should be the Premier League that bails them out, though, because then that sets a precedent, doesn't it? Like, the next team that's in financial trouble has to get bailed out, and where does it stop? It doesn't. You keep going. These clubs are in trouble because of bad ownership, decisions of their own making. Bury spent a load of money to get promoted, but they couldn't do it. Like, they got promoted, but the thing is, like, it's almost like they thought there was a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and got to the end of the rainbow and realised it was just a myth, a story. They're scratching their heads where the pot of gold is. So it's bad decisions. I think there needs to be something. Maybe it'd be out the TV money, maybe X amount of million every year goes into this pot, and then the pot is used to save football clubs, but the ownership then gets handed over. Maybe it needs to go to a certain company or something. A company needs to be set up that gets X amount of million a year, and it just sits there. And if a club, and this company is made up of experts, almost like administrators to an extent, and then when the club is in trouble, this company then buys that football club for £1, hopefully, and they run it. And then if an owner comes in to buy that football club back, it's fine, because then, but it's who owns the football club that's the problem. And apparently bails them out. Who owns the football club? It can't be in the hands of administrators, because they're there to cut costs. It needs to be people that understand football, that understands of running a football club is different to running a shop down the road, for example. It's completely different. The money is different. Everything's different. Your income and outgoings is different. Your forecasts are different. So it needs to be something needs to be set up. I don't think it's a case of West Ham whipping out $500,000 going, here, we'll put this in, and everyone else going, yeah, we'll put all that in. But when you do then see Richard Scudamore getting his big bonus,
good point.
That does not sit well with you when every Premier League club says, well, we all give him a bonus, and they'll go, yes, let's all give him a bonus. It doesn't sit well with me that when we're handing the big fat cat more money and fans are outside the ground. I don't know. Is there a way that you can bail the club out and it be fan ownership? Is that possible? I don't know. If it only costs £1 to get rid of the Bury man, the Bury dude, is there a way you could set up it so there's a 49% ownership of the club by fans? They all pay £100, and then by a certain deadline, whoever's paid £100 gets 49% shared among them, and the 51% is owned by the Football League or something. I don't know. Give football back to the fans. That's what I always say. The Germany Bundesliga do it 51% to fans, and it works. Yeah. So maybe not do 51%, do it 49%, but let your fans. Because I tell you what, if you offered this, there'd be a lot of Bury fans would suddenly pull £100 out and say, there you go, I'm having a share of that football club, because they will do it. I wouldn't be surprised. They would raise millions. Maybe not the £8 million that they need or something. They will raise a lot of money doing that football club. So that's why I say give it back to the football fans, because the guys in charge at the minute don't give two hoots about them. So give it to the ones that do. Anyway, we'll leave it there.
Yeah. I just want to say that Wonky's comment made me laugh. So, and thank you to James as well. But it's cool. But yeah, lovely. Enjoy these shows. Enjoy. It's like a Premier League cup of tea.
I love it. I like
if you like, Geo. Is that like I'm prodding you in the ear?
Where am I? Yeah, there you go. That's it. I'm looking at you now. But yeah, I like talking about the Premier League. We'll be back next week because we're talking about the Premier League review. So tomorrow night, watch along over on the Have a Chat channel. Then straight after, we'll have a review with 2 different people, hopefully. Maybe one other person in Gonzo. I'm not sure yet. I need to arrange that. Then on Thursday night, we've got our Norwich City preview. And to be honest with you, I'm not feeling very positive about it. Find out why on Thursday. That's been Gonzo. I've been Geo. We've been talking about Fantasy League. We've been talking about the Premier League. Thank you for joining us. Catch you in a bit. Oh, and one final thing. Subscribe to the channel. You can see, look, 4935 as it stands, okay? 65 people to hit 5,000. So if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If you have subscribed, get someone else to subscribe. Because there's 65 people if you do it. We'll hit the 5,000. Happy days. Catch you in a bit.